Hello, just in case you missed it, we are going to go and fill in this table again. So in this table, you have the three types of rotations that I expect you to have memorized. We're going to describe them, give the algebraic rule, meaning the x and y coordinates, what happens to them, and then we'll give an example over here. In class, we started with 180 degrees, and we started there because for most students, this is the easiest one to remember. Remember, the whole object is just getting flipped upside down, but it's being rotated flipped, not flipped like this. Those are two different. If you notice, my thumb ends on different sides, okay, whether it's a reflection or a rotation. So here, both the x and the y coordinate are going to switch signs. So switch signs on x and y. And that's it. So if you had x and y, the new coordinate would be negative x and negative y. So C prime here for the example, the x is 7. So C prime is negative 7, and the y was 8, so C prime's y coordinate is negative 8. Now these are the two that I expect you to have memorized. As a reminder, 90 degrees clockwise is the same thing as 270 degrees counterclockwise. So I'm just going to stick that over there. And same thing here, 90 degrees counterclockwise is the same thing as 270 degrees clockwise. But I always feel if you just memorize the 90 degree and then just remember that it's the 270 in the opposite direction, that will do just fine. So 90 degrees clockwise. When you are rotating clockwise, you first need to switch the sign on the x coordinate. So switch sign on x. Then you're actually going to switch the x and the y coordinate. So algebraically, this looks like you have x and y. Now you're going to make this x negative, and then you're going to swap them. So y goes here, and remember, we switched the sign there, so that's going to be negative x. Now what this looks like with a real point, a prime here, remember we're going to make this negative 2, and then we're going to switch it. So 4, negative 2. For 90 degrees counterclockwise, it's going to be similar, right? Not quite as easy as 180, but similar to the 90 degrees clockwise, except we're going the opposite direction. So the opposite coordinate gets switched signs. So instead of switching the x like we did with clockwise, we switch the sign on y. Then we switch x and y again. Okay, so let's take a look what that looks like with our coordinates. So if we have an x and a y coordinate, we're going to make the y negative, and then we're going to switch them. So remember, the y was negative, or switched signs, and then our x. Don't do anything with the sign of it, but just switch it to the y position. So here with b prime, remember, we switch this to a negative 5, and then we swap positions. So this is going to be negative 5, 3. Okay. Go ahead and practice this. There are IXLs, there are Delta Maths that you can practice this with, and then you can just make up your own figures and rotate them and figure out what the coordinates would be. Thank you.